Good morning, healthcare heroes. Good morning to our community. I'm Nicole Traum, and this is Lee Health's Healthcare Heroes Self-Care Moment. And this week we are talking about finding peace. I don't know about you, but it's been a particularly difficult week. And a lot of my friends that I've spoken to have said the same thing. Collectively, maybe we've reached our breaking point. I don't know. So wherever you are, I just want to say you're not alone, okay? One thing that as I was preparing for this today, I was thinking, well, what happens when it's difficult to find peace? Like right now, it's not just like, oh, everything's peaceful, right? There are times when it is very difficult to find peace around you and within you. Yesterday, we talked about going into that cave of the heart. Sometimes it's really deep and like obscured. It's really hidden to find that inner peace and that inner joy. So one of the ways that we can find more peace in our lives is by cultivating it, just like we would with a garden or just something that we want to grow in our lives. We do things to cultivate it. So let's start with a little movement and then we'll talk a little bit about that. One of the ways that you can cultivate that peace is by letting your body start to relax and creating that peace in that way. So let's start by sitting tall and breathing. Letting yourself fill up with air and then empty out with the breath. Just noticing what you feel like this morning. Let's take 3 more deep breaths like that, filling up on the inside. Emptying out, softening your outer body. Maybe letting those shoulders come onto your back. Let's do 2 more like that. Big inhale. Big exhale. Good. Last one. Good. And then let's start with our arms here. So we're going to inhale our arms up and overhead. So reaching up and overhead with your inhale. And then exhale, lowering your arms down by your sides or the sides of your chair. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling as you lower back down. Let there be a nice big stretch here. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lifting up. Good. Exhale and lowering back down. Keep going with your breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Start to find that rhythm. We have this natural internal rhythm of inhale and exhale, and it goes on no matter what, right? It goes on no matter how much we're distracted, how distressed, how out of sorts we feel. The breath is always there. So we can choose to just kind of ignore it, or we can join with it. We can lean into it. Inhale and exhale. Let's do 2 more like that. Just stretching up and emptying out. Good. Last one. And then just start to roll your shoulders onto your back. Good. I'm glad that's helpful. I'm glad when I see these comments on here in the morning. I do want to make a little shout out because just before I came on, I want to shout out to Health Park right now, especially to the birthing suites, because one of my friends, Yasmin and Malik, they are about to go in to have a baby. So we're going to send them lots of love this morning. And all the other moms, I know there's this is a weird time to be pregnant, right? A lot of moms out there getting ready to give birth or have had just given birth. I loved watching that video a couple weeks ago of the parents, like, there were families outside waiting for the babies to come out, and it was just really sweet, right? So there are things that are still peaceful, that are still beautiful going on. We just have to slow down and recognize them. So just letting yourself move side to side. So we're going to shout out to all those moms, right? All those labor and delivery nurses. That's it. All right, and then come on out and just roll your shoulders onto your back just a few times. Good. And we'll take our right arm up, and you're going to bring your hand back behind your head or to the upper back, wherever you can here, and then take your left hand to your right elbow. You're going to press your hand into your elbow and your elbow into your hand, and just feel some resistance there as you breathe. Good. Press your head back a little, so you don't want to round forward here. You do want to sit up tall, pressing that head back. And now from here, just reach up and over to the left a little bit. Big stretch. So maybe it looks more like this. If you can't get that arm up, that's okay. Give yourself some space. Good. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here, just stretching up through the side body. And then come all the way out. Stretch your arms out. Turn your head side to side. That's it. And then we'll bring our left arm up, bring it back behind your head or behind your shoulder, and then take your right hand to your left elbow and just start to press your head up and back as you stretch. You can press your hand into your elbow back up into your hand, and just start to feel some sensations coming up. Let yourself be present. It's not easy to be present in these difficult times. It's easier, the easy road is to kind of ignore it or find distraction, right? But we start to find more peace when we let ourselves start to acknowledge and accept. And that's really the first step in cultivating peace. Acknowledging and accepting your current situation. If you want, you can lean over to the right and just letting yourself be with it, right? It's not probably not going to change it, the acceptance, but it might accept the way that you approach it. And that's important. So let yourself breathe into that. Take another deep breath. Good. And then stretch your arms back out and move your head side to side. So the next step in cultivating peace, first we have that acceptance, right? Then we have forgiveness. So I want you to give yourself a hug again. We did this last week. I know there's a lot of expectations out there that we're supposed to be perfect coworkers. We're supposed to be perfect moms and dads. We're supposed to get everything done. We're supposed to, run 10 miles and cook the meals and clean the house, right? And it's okay. It's okay if you stink at it. It's okay if you don't do anything, right? So forgive yourself first here. Give yourself a hug. Move a little side to side. Imagine that person you love the most. Maybe you can't hug right now. Maybe they're far away. And then notice which arm is on top, and we're going to stretch those arms out again, and then bring the other one on top, and just give yourself another hug. Letting that, if you were watching last week, letting that oxytocin just start to release as you come out of it. Just feeling yourself hugging in. Good. And then we'll come on out and just stretch back out, opening your heart, turning your head side to side. Good. All right, let's make a little bit of movement with our legs now. So bring your knees over to the right. You're going to take this left leg and just step it back and just start to twist here. You can lengthen up through your side body, and then if you want, you can bring your arms up. So just a big stretch here, almost like a lunge, but your seat is on the chair. You can also do a lunge here. You could do a lunge holding onto the wall. Take another deep breath. Good. And then we'll come on out and we'll switch sides. So we're going to come back through center. Bring the knees over to the left and extend your right leg back. So I'm just stepping it back and twisting now to the left. Big stretch up through the front of my hip. And if that feels good, you can reach your arms up. Big stretch here. I like to hook my thumbs. It just gives me a little more resistance to breathe and stretch. So let's take 2 more deep breaths. Good. And then come on out, come back through center, and let's do those circles again. So as we come back to that piece about forgiveness, right? We forgive ourselves because that is really important, right? Forgive yourself for not doing whatever crazy, perfect quarantine life that you're supposed to be doing, right? It's okay, right? It's okay if the day looks messy, if your house looks messy, right? And then I want you to think about maybe there's other people that you can forgive. Maybe be a little kinder, and this is like speaking to myself, to your spouse or to your children or to your neighbors or to the person at Publix, right? When we start to forgive ourselves, we start to be kinder to ourselves in that way. It does overflow. And the next piece of this is give yourself some slack. let yourself simplify a little. Right? Move in the opposite direction here. Just feel your hips releasing down. What would it feel like if you didn't have such high expectations of this time? Right? What would it look like? Could you not make a gourmet meal for dinner, right? Could you be okay with your house being messy for another day? Could you be okay if you let yourself sleep in? Right? And I know all of our circumstances are different, but we can simplify in some way. We can let ourselves have that space. And we're going to come in and we're just going to rest forward here. So as you sit forward, bring your elbows down to your knees and just let your head drop down. Even here, this is simplifying, just letting yourself be present, feeling your head dropping, feeling yourself releasing. If you can, let the weight of your head just slowly drop down a little bit more. Let's take 3 more breaths here. You can turn your head side to side. And then we're going to roll on up. All right, so the last piece in this cultivating piece is do something that brings you joy. And I don't just mean in that Marie Kondo, like bring it up to your heart kind of thing, but just something as crazy as it might sound. And I'll tell you a story. You can take a comfortable seat now. I was thinking about this. I'm like, so what are some things that we've done at my house that have brought about joy? And I thought about like the first couple of weeks of quarantine and my daughter, who it was her birthday in the first couple of weeks, and she was just so out of sorts. She's still out of sorts, right? We all are. And she was just really sad and bummed out, and she didn't want to do anything. And she loves Casey Musgraves, so I said, okay, hon, let's get in the car. And she's like, okay. So we got in the car and we rolled down all the windows. And she loves the Casey Musgraves Christmas album. So we cranked it up and we just drove really slow through our neighborhood. And she was just so happy to feel the wind on her face, to listen to this music that she loved, to know that, you know, this isn't something that we normally do. And it was even cool because we saw our neighbors, they knew, you know, like, you know, when someone's driving with their kid with Christmas music on in the middle of, you know, March. So it just is, it's a thing that we can do, right? To find just little bits of joy, right? Even if it's just, I don't know, watching something on Netflix, right? So we're going to cultivate that peace now, and we're going to do a little bit of breath. And what this breath is called it's called a kumbhak or kumbhaka breath. And kumbhak translates to a suspension, holding of the breath. And when I think of it, I don't think of it as like, I'm going to hold my breath. I think of it as the breath still moving through you. So I want you to think about that. As we pause the breath is still moving through you. And that helps to be able to hold it a little bit longer. And the benefits of this are that it's going to help to lower the blood pressure a little. It's going to help to lower the way that you're holding your stress, help you to relax your body and your mind. All right, so let's start here. We'll inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good, and then we're going to inhale and pause at the top. So take a big inhale. Pause. Exhale. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Inhale and pause. Exhale fully. Inhale. Pause. Exhale fully. We'll do 3 more rounds. Inhaling slowly. Pause. Exhale. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Last round. Slow inhale. Pause. Exhale it all out. And then come back to your breath. Sit back in your chair. Give yourself a moment here to just gather yourself. To notice those places where you can start to feel peace growing in your body and your breath, maybe even in your mind. Lean back in your chair. Let your shoulders move back. Move your head back a little. Just allow yourself that space to just be. So I'm going to go over them one last time. I have them written down over here. So the ways that we can cultivate peace: accept, acknowledge, observe what's around us, accept our current situation, forgive yourself. And this is a hard one, right? I think it's even harder to forgive ourselves than it is to forgive others. And then cut yourself a break. Simplify something for yourself, right? It doesn't have to be Pinterest perfect. And then the last one is do something that brings you joy. So if you do something today or later this week that brings you joy, show me. Find me on Facebook or Instagram. Tag me. Tag Lee Health, right? Say Lee Health Joy. But allow yourself here to really find those things that do bring you joy. Because there are things, right? There's little things that you can do, silly things that you can do that just lighten the mood and bring in more space for that peace. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to bow to you. I'm going to bow to your courageousness, to your joyfulness, and namaste. And just thank you so much for watching. I'm Nicole Traum, and this has been Lee Health's Healthcare Hero Self-Care Moment. We'll be back tomorrow for Friday's edition. Hope to see you then. Thanks. Bye.